Yo, what is up guys? So we're here to go over the top 5 of the most popular Yu-Gi-Oh! Online games to duel with. And I say to duel with because Legacy of the Duels, technically as far as numbers go, this would be considered one of the most popular games. Well, Duel Links would be number 1, but I want to say Duel Links is a separate Yu-Gi-Oh! Game because it's not the same Yu-Gi-Oh! Experience, let's be honest here. We got 3 monsters and no synchros, no exceeds, no pendulums. I mean, to be fair, I'm okay with no pendulums, but it's just a completely different game. So Legacy of the Duelist will not be included in our top 5 list, although for number wise it would be considered, again, it's in its own category. All right, Legacy of the Duelist, even though technically it still has about 200-ish average players. This is taken via Steam charts. By the way, all these stats were taken in a previous weekend, except for, well, obviously this one's live right here, but I guess it's 30 minutes ago. Okay, it's pretty much live. Anyways, so Legacy of the Duelist is more so for a single player experience. The top 5 list is actually all fan made games. And by the way, all of these games are free. So this is kind of, I guess, a response to a lot of you guys that come and you ask me when I'm live streaming. You're like, hey, you know, what's the best Yu-Gi-Oh! Online game? Is this one free? All the games that we are going to be going over are free. But I just want to mention Legacy of the Duelist does cost money, but it's not on our top 5 list. I wanted to give it a shout out because it's one of the greatest Yu-Gi-Oh! Games for single player experience. It's got really cool anime duels. However, for the online section of the game, if you guys remember, we tried playing this game on the live stream and we tried dueling people and we got matched up with the same guy 3 times. And after that, after we beat him 3 times with my tower turbo deck, oh, by the way, this ban list is super whack. It's got towers at, last time I played at least, I don't think they updated it. It's got towers at 3 and necros are full power pretty much at this one, I believe, still. But anyways, this one is not really good for an online experience because, again, the ban list is different. There's no links, by the way. This is just, it's a really great game. By the way, for anyone that says Konami is sponsored, they paid you for this video, no. This is not even on the top list. But I did want to give it a shout out because it's one of the greatest Yu-Gi-Oh! Games for a single player experience. You can't get better than this. It's got so many cool anime duels, cool character matchups. This is definitely a great game. Alright, now that said, let's go ahead and finally jump into the list. Again, I'm not counting Duel Links for this because it's a different game. Let's go ahead and jump into the top 5 games, and this is just hard stats. These are just numbers, so I didn't want to mention how to download and stuff because a lot of people will ask that also when I make these types of videos. So I'm just going to say I will leave in the description box the download links for all of these games that we will be talking about. I know there's just so much stuff I have to get out before we actually go to the list, and I don't mean to prolong the video to get that 10-minute YouTube algorithm. I have to mention these things because sometimes people will mention these, you know, they'll have these questions. But yeah, all the download links for all of these games that we will be talking about will all be listed down below. They're all 100% free. There's no subscription. You don't have to pay once. If you're paying for these downloads, I don't know what you're doing, man. But yeah, all these games are completely free. Now, again, this is the top 5, so before someone says, why didn't you include this game? These games are just less popular, and I'm not biased towards any Yu-Gi-Oh! Online game. None of them pay me to promote them or anything like that. This video is for hard stats. I've actually made a video on other Yu-Gi-Oh! Games. Some of them let you use custom cards. There's Duelist of the Roses online. There's so many other custom Yu-Gi-Oh! Games that I did want to give a shout out to. A video I made a while back that talks about all of the pros and cons of each individual one. I'll briefly mention some of them in this video just so some of you guys can actually get, you know, an idea of, you know, what are the pros and the cons of this dueling client, because, you know, in the top 5 that might be a relevant thing even though we're primarily looking at numbers. But like I said, I'll leave that video also down below. Okay, now that is all out of the way, let's go ahead and go into the hard stats. Now, again, these were actually taken about a week ago. These were all during a weekend of about the same time. Some of them I can't actually get the number itself. For example, Gideon's server, I actually have to get it from someone that actually has, he's got connection to Gideon. If you guys don't know who Gideon is, that is the guy that runs the Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro 2 English server. It's pretty much the only Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro 2 client in English, I believe, as of right now. But that's the one that I primarily play on. Usually I play on this one, or if sometimes a new card is you know, not in here, we can check on Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro or some of the other applications, but this is the one I primarily play on. I just like how it looks pretty much. That's the only reason. And as far as the stats go, because again, I can't get these stats myself, I gotta get them from him. But anyways, so you guys can see he says almost 200, and then he says officially 200 before I leave for work. But this number is actually multiplied times 2, and the reason why it's multiplied times 2 is because those are the number of rooms. So with the number of rooms, obviously, if there's a room, there's 2 people dueling, if that makes sense. So yeah, so you just multiply that integer by 2. Also, I'm not sure how this affects tag duels. If someone wants to let me know about that in the comment section below. These are just rooms. I guess technically 1 tag room would be 4 players. So, okay. But I would say, for the most part, tag duels, the player base is pretty small. You guys probably know there's only like 2 to 3 tag duels going on at a time. Usually, like if you go to the search thing, there's very little anyways. But anyways, next up, we're going to go check out DevPRO. So again, these were all taken at a weekend at about the same time, maybe a couple minutes difference, but these numbers may fluctuate a little bit, but these are the top 5. Okay, so let me go over the most important thing with like Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro 2 is really like just the flashiness of it. DevPRO, you guys remember, I actually hit rank 10 and I did rank 10 on live stream, and then I got rank 6 offline of playing on the client. Yeah, I used to go really hard in competitive scene of DevPRO. I just really like their interface. Basically, well, they're all at its core Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro, but DevPRO is it's similar to Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro. Oh, by the way, I did want to mention one real quick thing. Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro 2 does have links. DevPRO, as of right now, with me making this video, it does not have links. Obviously, in the future, every Yu-Gi-Oh! Application will be having links. Well, I hope so at least. But anyways, yeah, I'm sure they plan to update in the future. But this one currently still does not have links, just as a heads up. But you guys can see over here, it says a server, 151 users online, so that means people just have the client up. You can see there's 26 active duels and 55 users dueling. Kind of a low player base, but that's okay. I mean, obviously me making this video hopefully will encourage you guys to try out these other Yu-Gi-Oh! Servers, just to see if maybe you like one better than another one. I personally like it when there's a lot of players. The reason why is because matchmaking time, A, and then B, also just seeing more players in general, seeing more decks, because certain times if you're dueling, you know, really late into the night, like on certain applications, you just don't get a match. You gotta wait like 10 minutes for a game, especially if you're trying to play in the ranked section. Let me tell you that. If you're playing really late on some applications, it takes a long time to get a match, and that's just because the player base is low. Some people like a lower player base. That's totally cool. I've always been usually about the more popular ones, just because, again, I like my matchmaking time to be snappy fast, and that's also better matchmaking, which means that you know, you won't be matched up against someone that's super high rank compared to, like, your Crystal Beast deck is probably not going to be beating, you know, the Spiral deck, you know. Oh, well, actually, I don't know, with the new Crystal Beast stuff, maybe it can happen, but yeah, those are the stats for DevPRO. I actually did a video on like how to download and play Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro. It's basically the same client. I just want to show you guys kind of what it looks like. And then we have Dawn of the New Era. So this one does have links if you guys want to play that. You guys can see in the unranked section, we got 206 games going over there. And then for ranked games, we've only got 15. Generally in games, when you're going to the ranked section, it's just a little bit lower. That's for like any game across the board. Rank just seems to be a little bit lower in player base. So be ready to face up against the same guy, you know, potentially again and again. If you are dueling, like if you duel for several hours, you're gonna run to the same person. But that can be a good thing. I mean, you might know, oh, that guy, you know, Meta Knight, he's playing Metal Foes, or I don't know what he's playing honestly, but you guys get what I'm saying. I'm saying you get to get familiar with the community, perhaps. Although sometimes they might argue you're side decking your stuff against me, you're playing against my deck. I could get into another story about that, but anyways, yeah, we're here just to kind of talk about the pros and cons, very minor pros and cons. This video, I'll link it down below. It goes over like things in much more detail, but pretty much this one, it does have links, so that's kind of why it's definitely a little bit more popular right now. But anyways, next up, the one that I think all of you guys are familiar with, this is our number 2 spot. It's one of it's the most, I believe it's the most popular in the US as far as like an automated client goes for Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro. And this is the Percy server, I'm sure. Well, this is primarily what most of the videos you guys probably have seen on my channel are from Percy server. That is Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro 1, and as you guys can see, the rooms total is 282 and the users total is 618. This is not users total that have ever made an account, it's just that at this time, well, it's not this specific time. I don't actually remember the exact time frame here, but anyways, yeah, this one over here, you guys can see the stats on it. And then lastly, and in our number 1 spot, you guys already know, is Dueling Network 2.0, aka Dueling Book. And I think this one's the most popular just because it is manual. I've done a video on a tutorial on this, I'll also link it down below, but this one's all manual. You got to do things by yourself. It's like playing with cards in real life. And I think the reason why I think this one's the most popular is, well, okay, there's a lot of cool features with it. You know what? Just watch the video if you're interested in this Yu-Gi-Oh client. It's the most popular for, I think, a lot of reasons, but like it's got like the best, like as far as like interactive like community, it's got one of the best, but it's also one of the most toxic because technically when you argue with your opponent, you actually have to call an admin and you have to wait like a really long time sometimes. It just becomes a clown fiesta of you arguing with your opponent, which it's the best Yu-Gi-Oh simulator to real life Yu-Gi-Oh. I mean, nothing comes close to it, especially with the amount of arguing and the insult playground matches that go on in this. This one it is the most entertaining. If you want to do some fun stuff, I gotta recommend this one to you, man. But anyways, at the time of taking this, it's got 605, and that's the most popular one. Heck, I remember. Do you guys remember when a Dueling network had like 5,000 minimum all time? It was like 5K, 9K. I remember it had so many users, like the website could not function properly. But rip Dueling network. But Dueling Book, I think is better, honestly. Like it has so many really cool features for it. But yeah, anyways, that's the player base for this. And by the way, these are not active duels. It's kind of hard to get a number of like active duels because you'd have to scroll down and the games go so fast. Like good luck trying to count them all. But as far as online, sometimes people leave their computer on. You know, obviously there's a lot of people that do that, and that's why the user base could technically be inflated in a sense, but not to take anything away. I think all these games are really great. Play the one that you guys want. Again, this is not a sponsored video by any single one of these. These are just flat by numbers, the most popular ones. Because I didn't make a video talking about like all of the games, but I wanted to go over the most popular ones because I think it's a very relevant question that gets asked all the time in my live stream. Hey, you know, what is this game? Is it popular? Are there a lot of people playing? Because when I stream on Twitch, a lot of people come from Legacy of the Duelist and they're like, what the heck, how'd you get a game so fast? You know, what is this game? Where do I download it? That kind of stuff. And I want to go over, again, the most popular ones. And like I said, I'll leave download tutorials for some of the games down below in that description box. But anyways, have some fun, guys, with these games. And hopefully that'll give you an idea of the most popular Yu-Gi-Oh games. If you guys want to let me know which one is your favorite down below in the comments below, I would love to know and get you some of my own viewers' feedback. And then also let me know which one you hate the most. I'm just kind of curious, not to put any a client down. I'm just kind of curious to get feedback from my user base. And before everyone says Duel Links, but guys, that one's not on our list. All right. But anyways, thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, drop a like on it, and if you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button to see more new fidget spinner 1000 degree videos.